University of Washington and Johns Hopkins University report that 5G radiation is killing animals and wildlife. The lengthy report about 5G exposure has found that this newfound radiation source is damaging the health of creatures that live in the wild. The 150-page report, compiled by researchers at the University of Washington and Johns Hopkins University, contains 3 sections, the first of which looked at how environmental EMFs, that's electromagnetic frequencies, have radically increased in recent years. The second part looked at how living organisms are impacted by these EMFs. It reveals how, quote, effects have been observed in mammals such as bats, cervids, cetaceans, and pinnipeds, among others, and on birds, insects, amphibians, reptiles, microbes, and many species of flora, end quote. Now, the third section focuses on EMF exposure, limits, and the prospects of new regulations to help better protect living beings against the harm caused by this constant flood of non-ionizing radiation. The spokesperson from the Environmental Health Trust, EHT, said, "This eloquent review gives insight into missed opportunities for cancer prevention, exemplified by asbestos, tobacco, certain pesticides, and now RF radiation, that's radio frequency radiation. The authors," he said, highlight how economic considerations were favored instead of cancer prevention. A strategy to show doubt on cancer risks was established decades ago and is now adopted and implemented in a more sophisticated way by the telecom industry regarding RF EMF risks to human beings and the environment. Industry has economic power, access to politicians and media, whereas concerned people are unheard. The DC Court of Appeals ruled in favor of petition calling for greater FCC regulation of cellular radiation. Deborah Davis, founder of EHT, said that it has been known for quite some time that cellular radiation of all kinds is dangerous to wildfires as well as to people, and yet, to wildlife as well as to people, and yet the federal government has turned a blind eye to the science and instead promoted the interests of Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. The spokesperson from EHT is further quoted as saying, "We have done more than enough research to trigger new regulatory action to protect wildlife. The FCC should have done a full review of the environmental impact of 5G network deployment before streamlining hundreds of thousands of 5G cell towers across the nation." Back in August, the DC Court of Appeals ruled in favor of a petition filed by EHT against the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC. The court found that the FCC has not done nearly enough to address the growing body of evidence linking EMFs to negative health impacts, even at levels below that what the FCC considers safe. The court also noted that the FCC has not adequately responded to the Department of the Interior after it raised the issue of the environmental harms that EMFs cause specifically on migratory birds. The National Institute of Health published a report showing that both 5G and 4G are harmful to humans and other living beings. Now, the corporate media, on the other hand, which is bought and paid for by wireless industry, scoffed at and scorned the idea that 5G is anything other than amazing and wonderful. And also news concerning what was published in 2020 piece entitled "Why Conspiracy Theorists Think 5G is Bad for Your Health and Why Experts Say Not to Worry." The contents of this news piece are not true and are exactly what you might expect. Davis warns, who believes that the time to act is now. He said, "With 5G coming to neighborhoods across the country, the levels of wireless radiation will significantly increase." He said, "We do not have the luxury of time to continue to debate this issue with the wireless industry. Adults, children, pets, wildlife, and our environment are all vulnerable." This is from Citizens News on Humans Are Free. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.